know the feeling. Your schedule is full, your inbox is overflowing, and suddenly the smallest task feels impossible. Instead of taking action, your brain freezes. You stare at the screen, jump from one thought to another, and end the day exhausted without producing real results. That moment of overload is not weakness, it is your brain's emergency brake. Neuroscience shows that under stress, the amygdala hijacks control from your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, clarity, and execution. The result is chaos. You are fully awake but mentally offline. The truth is, stress itself is not the enemy. Stress is raw energy. The problem is that you do not know how to compress it into focus. That is where the compression point protocol comes in. This is a system designed to take the very pressure that shuts you down and flip it into a 3-minute reset that clears your head and produces a crystal clear plan. It is not meditation. It is not waiting for motivation. It is a neurological maneuver to turn stress into fuel. Think of it like a hydraulic press. Uncontrolled pressure will burst the system. Controlled pressure creates strength and precision. Your brain works the same way. Without a protocol, stress scatters your thoughts. With the compression point protocol, stress becomes the force that sharpens them. Let's break it down. The protocol has 3 stages. Stage 1 is release, stage 2 is compress, stage 3 is convert. Each stage has a specific action that rewires your stress response in real time. Stage 1, release. When stress overload hits, your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Your first task is to dump that excess energy. Here is how you do it. You take a controlled breathing pattern that lasts exactly 1 minute. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6, repeat. This pattern is proven to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering cortisol while keeping you alert. The key here is the ratio. The longer exhale tells your brain it is safe, and that prevents the amygdala from holding control. Do not underestimate this. Elite soldiers use this breathing sequence before entering high-stakes environments because it reliably clears panic and restores cognitive control. 1 minute of this breathing is the release. You have stabilized the system. Now stage 2, compress. This is where you take scattered thoughts and force them into a narrow channel. You grab a sheet of paper or open a blank note and write down every single demand on your mind in under 60 seconds. Do not filter. Do not edit. Just dump. This is not journaling. This is unloading working memory. Neuroscience calls it cognitive offloading. When you transfer tasks out of your head onto a page, the prefrontal cortex stops trying to juggle them all. That single step lowers mental load dramatically. Within 1 minute, you will feel the shift from chaos to clarity because your brain is no longer a storage container. It becomes a processor again. Stage 3, convert. This is the compression point itself. Look at your list and select the one item that will create the highest leverage if you execute it right now. Not 10 items, not 3, 1. Circle it. Then rewrite it as a clear next action. For example, instead of finish presentation, you write draft 3 bullet points for slide 1. That precision is crucial. Vague tasks keep the brain overloaded. Concrete actions focus it. By the time you finish this 3rd stage, less than 3 minutes have passed, and you will have transformed raw stress into a single, actionable plan with immediate clarity. Release, compress, convert. That is the protocol. You might think this sounds too simple to work, but simplicity is the point. Under stress, the brain does not execute complex systems. It collapses. That is why you need a protocol that is mechanical, repeatable, and impossible to overthink. Let me explain why this works at the neural level. During overload, the amygdala fires constantly, creating a fight or flight loop. The release stage cuts the loop with a physiological reset. The compress stage removes the invisible drain of working memory overload. The convert stage gives the prefrontal cortex a clear target, which restores executive control. In other words, you move from reactive brain to strategic brain in 3 minutes flat. This is not just theory. A Harvard study on stress performance showed that people who use structured cognitive offloading improved decision accuracy under pressure by more than 30%. Professional athletes use similar compression techniques before critical plays. Top CEOs use rapid offloading sessions before high-stakes meetings. The mechanism is always the same: clear the noise, compress the signal, and convert it into action. The advantage you gain from this is massive. While everyone else is stuck in paralysis, you are moving. While others drown in options, you execute the one action that moves the needle. Over time, this becomes an identity shift. You stop seeing stress as a threat. You see it as a trigger. Each time stress rises, you run the compression point protocol, and within minutes you are back in control. The faster you run it, the faster your brain learns that overload is not the end of clarity, but the beginning of it. Let me give you an example in practice. Imagine you are about to present to your team, and 10 minutes before the meeting you realize you have not finalized your slides. Panic sets in. Normally, you would freeze, scramble, and produce something weak. Instead, you run the protocol. 1 minute of controlled breathing lowers the panic. 1 minute of dumping your tasks onto paper clears the swirl of half-formed thoughts. 1 minute of converting gives you a single step. Draft the opening line. Suddenly, you are not drowning, you are executing. And because momentum produces confidence, the presentation starts strong instead of chaotic. That is the competitive edge. The compression point protocol is a lever. It takes the exact situation that paralyzes others and makes it your advantage. Every time you feel stress rise, you know you are 3 minutes away from clarity. The beauty of the compression point protocol is that it transforms stress from an enemy into a signal. Every spike of pressure is no longer a sign of weakness. It is a red light telling you to run the protocol. And the more you practice, the faster you execute. Over time, this becomes your default operating system. Instead of spiraling into chaos, you respond to overload with a precise 3-step maneuver. That is how high performers stay sharp in environments that break everyone else. They do not avoid stress, they channel it. Let me give you another practical scenario. You are sitting in a meeting where tasks are being thrown at you from every direction. Deadlines, requests, updates. It feels like too much at once. Instead of panicking, you discreetly run the release stage with 2 rounds of controlled breathing. Nobody notices, but your nervous system calms down. You open your notebook and quickly dump the chaos onto the page. Now you see clearly. You circle the one priority that actually matters for moving the project forward. In less than 3 minutes, you have clarity while everyone else in the room is still spinning. That is what leverage looks like in the real world. The reason this works so powerfully is because you are aligning with the way the brain is designed. Your nervous system wants to survive uncertainty, not process 10 tasks at once. Your working memory has a limit of about 4 to 7 items before it collapses. By offloading, you free up that scarce bandwidth. Your prefrontal cortex is designed to focus on a single target at a time. By converting the list into one actionable step, you hand it exactly what it needs to win. You are no longer fighting biology, you are working with it. And this is the ultimate principle of performance. The brain is a tool. You can let it run on default, or you can run protocols that unlock its best functions. Most people try to push through stress with brute force. That is like trying to lift a car with your hands. The compression point protocol is the hydraulic jack. Small, precise, efficient, and it multiplies your force. Now here is the challenge. Do not wait for extreme stress to practice this. Install it in small doses first. The next time you feel even mild overload, run it. Breathe for 1 minute. Dump for 1 minute. Convert for 1 minute. Build the groove. When the big stress hits, you will not hesitate. The protocol will run automatically. That is what turns this from a tool into a weapon. Over time, you will start to notice a secondary effect. Stress itself will stop feeling threatening. Your brain will start associating stress with clarity, because every time pressure rises, you gain focus. This is how you rewire your relationship with stress. Instead of shrinking, you sharpen. That shift alone gives you an edge that most people will never experience. Think about what that means. While your peers waste hours in paralysis, you are moving forward. While they drown in noise, you are extracting signal. While they wait for conditions to calm down, you are using stress itself as the launch pad. That is the hidden advantage. It is not about having no stress. It is about being the one who knows how to convert stress into clarity faster than anyone else in the room. That is what the compression point protocol delivers. So here is your action. For the next 7 days, every time you feel pressure rising, run the 3 steps. Release with the controlled breath. Compress by dumping thoughts onto paper. Convert by circling the highest leverage action. Do not negotiate with yourself. Just run the system. By the end of the week, you will have proof that you can command clarity on demand. This is not motivation. This is not theory. This is a mental code you can install right now and carry for life. And if you want to build an entire arsenal of codes like this, protocols that give you an unfair advantage in career, finance, and communication, then subscribe to Success Code. Because stress, distraction, hesitation, these are not your enemies, they are signals. And once you know the codes to reprogram them, you stop being reactive and start becoming unstoppable. Welcome to Success Code, where every protocol is another weapon in your system for winning.